All right, Josh, pick 3 games that are coming up this weekend in week 1 that you are absolutely excited to see.
Absolutely. I think first and foremost, you look at the Niners Steelers game, right? You look at those two teams. Obviously, San Francisco has been a popular pick in recent years to get to the Super Bowl. They went to a Super Bowl not too long ago, Super Bowl 54 against Kansas City. And now they have Christian McCaffrey for a full 17 game schedule. Fingers crossed. Hope he stays healthy. Kyle Shanahan has his guy. A little bit about the background there. Kyle Shanahan's the son of Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan coached the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowls in the late 90s. They had a player by the name of Ed McCaffrey. He was a tight end, and he had a son, Christian McCaffrey, now running back in the NFL. Those families are really close. McCaffrey was fantastic in Carolina, and now he's in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan, and that offense is going to be phenomenal.
I just love how that just comes full circle like that. Like,
Right.
you have to think at some point it's just meant to be that they break through. Like, just like you mentioned with the Broncos, eventually Elway broke through and won towards the end of his career. I think that's going to be a good game too. A lot of people that I know about who talk Steelers really like their defense. They definitely showed up against the Bucks last year. As since we were just talking about the Bucks, it was like a 20-19 final. And another big question for the 49ers, if they can get Brock Purdy with, they are guaranteed almost to be as well a contender to be in the NFC Championship. They did it with Garoppolo twice, and they did a third year in a row that, or not in a row, at least they did a third time with Purdy. And the only reason it wasn't Jimmy Garoppolo is because he got hurt and Brock Purdy showed up. And that's why Jimmy G is now in Las Vegas. More on that later.
Yeah, and I'm going to pivot quickly here to that because, like, yeah, we talked about San Francisco. Game is in Pittsburgh. We know what their home crowd is capable of, especially in week 1. Great defense, young defense there from the Steelers. Kenny Pickett, year 2. George Pickens, who I think is poised to have a breakout year at wide receiver. He's a freak athlete on the outside. We're talking about big receivers, right? We talked about Mike Evans being a big receiver. This guy's huge. George Pickens is going to have a big year as long as he's healthy. Game 2 that I'm interested in, Dolphins Chargers. Obviously, what do we want to see out of that? We want to see points, and we want to see a lot of them. Well, both of these teams have playmakers everywhere. Obviously, Tua's got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. And you look at the running back room that they have with Mostert and Ahmed and Devon Achane. Not superstar guys, but very quick burst, like explosive players that are capable of making an explosive play at any given moment. It's a fun backfield. You look at the Chargers with Justin Herbert. They just came off of a 27-point loss. They had a 27-point lead. They blew it to Jacksonville. That's the last game that they've had a taste in their mouth. Now they're going to come back. It's going to be a great game. And then now to the last game I'm interested in, Pats Eagles, probably the antithesis of Dolphins Chargers, lower scoring, physical football. Bill Belichick's defense is probably going to get a touchdown because they've scored 8 of those last year on defense and special teams. And of course, Philly, the runner-up in the NFC, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, list goes on. They brought in DeAndre Swift. That's going to be another fun matchup, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So I agree too. And my only comment that I'll say for those 2 games is I just hope Tua stays healthy. Last year was absolutely nightmarish. I thought there was one game where I didn't know if he'd be able to walk after. We'll talk about those though once we've gotten to those games. But for me, I'm going to go starting off with Jacksonville versus Indianapolis. Anthony Richardson makes his debut. We saw what the potential we saw at Florida. We didn't see the full thing, but we saw what could come of him if he can develop more. Jax is coming off a big year last year. And then lastly, Calvin Ridley is back after missing a season. So I'd like to see what Trevor Lawrence can do when he gets that added major weapon. That was huge for Matt Ryan over in Atlanta. I'm going to go second game, Buffalo versus the Jets. Aaron Rodgers makes his debut. He's up against Josh Allen. It's a big first game, division game. It'll be the first look at, is Rodgers a difference maker for this Jets team who has not made the playoffs since 2010? Coincidentally, along with another Buffalo team, the Sabres, they're the two longest playoff droughts now in North American sports, with the Mariners finally making the playoffs, the Kings finally making the playoffs. It is all about two teams trying to start off on the right foot. The Bills finally trying to get a Super Bowl, and the Jets trying to finally get back to the playoffs. Lastly, I have Raiders versus Broncos. One that, when you just read the names, might sound, why would that be interesting at all? You got Jimmy Garoppolo coming in, replacing Derek Carr, the quarterback who took the 49ers to 2 NFC championships. The mindset here is this guy at least knows how to win games. He won't impress you on the stat sheets, but the W's are there. And for the Broncos, what's going to happen with Russell Wilson? Big trade last year, they go 5-12. They're bringing in Sean Payton. And if you've heard all the commentary that's been said, stop kissing babies, whatever, that's at least showing that Sean Payton's still up to his usual business. But will it mesh well with Russell Wilson and at least show some improvement going forward for Denver? We'll have to find out.
Absolutely. I think those are fantastic games. You can never go wrong with a divisional game like the Jets and the Bills. They're going to play twice. Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great game. Obviously, the Jets have been a very hyped team. A lot of people are comparing Aaron Rodgers to the Jets as Brady to the Bucks. I don't see it, but some people are. It's going to be a high expectation season, a tough schedule. That's a great game. Obviously, Sean Payton is trying to whip that Denver team into shape. We know they have talent there. We know they've had proven players that have made big time plays and big time accomplishments. A Super Bowl winning quarterback in Russell Wilson. So yeah, it's going to be an overall fun week 1.
Yeah, and we've seen a trend over the last few years. You originally saw with Montana with the Chiefs in the 90s, but since Payton did it, is almost 10 years ago now, you're starting to see a trend where a bunch of quarterbacks that know how to win and have won are just trying to get that last dance on another team that just needs that quarterback. And I look forward to seeing if this trend continues and continues to be successful. Manning won, Brady won. Can Rodgers win? Can Russ maybe do something? We'll see. Hey, thank you so much for watching this segment. We appreciate it. If you like the segment, click on the link and watch the full episode. And make sure to hit like and subscribe to stay up to what's happening with Awkward Sports Media. We'll see you next time.